Good morning, guys and dolls. What am I doing today? Well, I'm going to be putting a switch in on my Himalayan for the headlight, so I can turn the headlight on or off manually. I don't like the idea of it being on all the time. It's sort of cycling through the battery constantly, isn't it? So the less load on the battery at all times, the better, I think, personally. Anyway, I like to have the option to be able to turn it on or off. At the moment, as you know, they're constantly on. Let's go and have a look. Here he is, quality control. Just had a nice walkies, haven't we? It's only local walkies because of the old virusy thingy. Sorry to have to mention that. Right, what you're going to need basically is a nice pair of crimp tools. These are the ratchet type, the only type to use really, not those silly squishy ones, they're crap. You need a 3mm Allen key, a pair of cutters, two female Lucar insulated crimps and two male crimps, 10mm drill bit. Don't need any tape, but it's there, and there's my box of crimps. Anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to take our 3mm bit and we are going to literally unscrew each side. There's one this side, one to the other side. Undo those and then remove the headlight and unclip the headlamp plug. Let me just pause it there. Okay, there's the two screws removed, the two 3mm Allen bolts. So we can just hand underneath, pull the bottom out, pull down, and there we are. Let's just remove that plug, like so, and disconnect the side light. So you just press that little tab in there, and that unplugs. So that's our headlight unit 3. We're going to put that somewhere safe, so it doesn't roll around. I'm going to put it on there so it doesn't slide off onto the floor and smash. Now you can see my wiring is a bit different to yours on your bike because I put this switch in. Okay, basically what this switch does, or was supposed to do, was to turn the headlight on and off using sunlight. So there is the little switch in, there it is. It's a photo cell, okay? Now that required a 10mm hole as well, so I've already done the drilling part. So I've drilled mine just there. You can put it roughly anywhere around here, or the other side if you prefer. Okay, so that's where my switch is going to go. Right. So anyway, let's remove this thing here. I need to have two hands to hold the other side there. So. Okay, so here's that photo cell removed. I bought it from eBay. It's supposed to be 8 volts to 50 volts DC it can handle. Now trust me, it doesn't work. So it's now coming out of the bike, and I still have my 10mm hole right there, which I drilled with my drill bit. So this obviously is a photo cell. It detects light and dark, so obviously in the daytime it turns lights off. You've got a common feed in and a switch line out to switch the headlight. Now, not to make things too complicated, basically in here, let's put some light on, the yellow with the green stripe, you've got black, yellow or blue, yellow or green. The yellow or green stripe is your dip beam. Okay, that's what comes on when you put the ignition on. Okay, so what I basically did is I cut that cable with my snips, and I put a female connector on the incoming. That's the incoming supply, and that's obviously the outgoing supply to the headlamp bulb. Okay, and the reason I put the female one on there is because if I had put this terminal on there, this would all have been live and in there touching things which you don't want it to do. So I've made it fail safe by putting the female one on there. That's got a live feed to it when you put the ignition on, and that's that. So basically I've just split that. This one was just linking the negative across to that photo cell switch. You don't need to get involved in that today. In actual fact, I'm going to remove this crimp and put an inline crimp in there and just crimp it back together to how it was. So there we are, basically the yellow and green stripe cable, snip it, male connector, female connector, male connector, crimp them on, you're ready to go basically. The switch, here is the switch. I bought this from eBay. It's got some nice solid size cable there. It's not a Mickey Mouse switch, and this is rubberized, rubbery jubbery. Can you hear that? on off, on off. So basically I've just got to take that cap off, which is the rubberized switch, put that on the table, and there we have that, and it's got a rubber seal on it. So that just needs to be threaded up through that hole there, which I can do whilst we're chatting, like so. And then I just put the nut, the press switch cover rubber bit back on top of there, and basically you put a male and a female on those two and you plug them back in. Okay, one into there and the other one into there. So it basically cuts and makes that circuit. That, I hope that's a bit sort of straightforward. If you've got any questions, drop it in the comments below. I'm just going to pause it here and install, and then we'll show you the thing working. Right, well I've taken the pieces of plastic off of there. Okay, I'm just going to snip these a bit shorter because I tried doubling them over to make them extra thick, but you don't need, because this is a decent size inner core. That's quite adequate for these red crimp terminals. Okay, so I basically, let's put that in my pocket. I'm trying to do this one-handed. So what we do basically is we put a terminal on there, like so. So you can just about see a little bit of copper in the end there. Now we're going to crimp it. With my crimp it tool, it's got you've got 3 different colours, haven't you? You've got yellow, blue and red crimp, so we use that part of the crimp. Okay, let's put that on there. Oops, it's coming off. I'm trying to do this one-handed and it's not playing ball. Come on. Stay. Right, we're going to crimp it up like so. Right, okay, I'm going to give it a good squeeze, and it ratchets up and it locks, and then we release the handle, and there we have a perfectly crimped crimp. Now let's do the female one. There we go, female because it's recessed, and the male because it's sticking out. Okay guys, we know all that, don't we? So there we go. Let's put the female one on there, and let's crimp. Come on. Start ratcheting it up a little bit. Oh bugger. Difficult one hand. Right, let's crimp that up. Oh sugar, it's come off. Oh. Right, jobs are good, and basically there's the 2 cables coming out of the switch. So we've got the feed coming out of the wiring loom, feeding the switch, and then the make or break switch goes back down to the headlight, okay, to the dip beam circuit. So there we go. I'm just going to remove this, crimp that up. I'm going to pop the headlight back in, plug this plug back in, plug the side lamp back in, and then we'll put the ignition on and we'll have a look at it. All right, so it's fairly simple job. Skill required 0 pretty much. Right, let's crack on.